Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live demo. I'm Sarah Breff, the Senior Product Marketing Manager here at Rinsed. We are really excited today to share one of our newest features with you all, campaign templates. We'll kick things off this morning or afternoon, depending where you are located, with our VP of Marketing, Jacob Azia, giving a brief overview on the campaign templates feature. Then Stephanie, one of our customer success managers, will do a campaign deep dive walkthrough with the campaigns within the Rinse platform. Evan, one of our senior data analysts, will be joining her as well to provide some case study examples. We'll end the live demo with a Q&A session. You can find the Q&A chat to the right of your screen on the desktop or at the bottom of the screen if you are on mobile. Drop any questions that you have during the demo. If we are unable to get to your questions during this live session, we'll reach out afterwards. All right, let's begin. We'll now turn the time over to Jacob.
Thank you, Sarah. It's so great to see so many familiar faces here joining us today. So we have continually heard from customers and other owners and operators that you love the Rinse platform and all of the features that you're able to use with it, but that some of you just don't have the time or the resources to set up all the campaigns that you would like to maximize the customer experience at your wash. So the Rinse team has built out this new campaign templates feature solely for the purpose of giving our customers time back. So the idea is that we have built several different types of campaigns, which we will go over, so that you can mostly just plug and play. So you have to spend less time building messaging, writing, text messages, building audiences, and you can just spend more time on the things that make a difference for you and your wash. So we'll go over those campaigns now. There are 5 of them that for any new customer will come with your Rinsed account, ready to go. For any existing customers, we'll tell you how to get access to these later. So the 5 types of campaigns that we now have available for you are former member drip campaigns. Generally, these are going to be in the style of a win-back campaign to see if we can get your former members to rejoin. Just a standard member drip campaign. So the goal of these are to, increase usage, make sure that your members are actively using the wash to increase retention and decrease churn. We've got a non-member drip campaign or just a retail drip campaign ready to go, and this is to encourage usage. Make sure you're giving them offers to come back to the wash if you have their contact information. We have a retail loyalty campaign template ready to go. This one is so that you can start offering your non-members a loyalty offer, so that you can basically give them, after 4 washes or 5 washes, give them their next one free, whatever you want. But this is to drive usage for those non-members that might just never convert to being members. And then we've got your standard credit card decline campaign template, which is basically a sequence of messages to let your members know that their credit card is in decline and that they need to update it using the online member management form on your website, or to come in and update their information. So these are 5 different templates that are all available. They all have multiple messages and audiences built out. So we'll go over just a quick overview of the benefits for these templates. So like I said, the first one, ease of use. These are basically ready to go. We do encourage you to add your own branding and your voice. Otherwise, they're going to sound generic, but the general framework of the messaging is built. And not only that, but we've actually gone ahead and pre-built the audiences that match that message. So for former members, there'll be an audience already attached to that message looking at your former members. But you can customize any of this. You can customize the message, you can customize the audience or the cadence when they're getting sent out, whatever you think is best for your business. We have the one that's ready to go, but you can do whatever you want with it from there. Ideally, the goal of all these campaigns is to just increase engagement for you and your customers and your wash, and ultimately, increase lifetime value. And then rest assured, all of the messages that we've had pre-built for you are compliant, so you don't have to worry about any kind of regulations there. So we're really excited to show you more about these templates. We're going to dive into the product in just a second.
Sorry, Steph, I think you're on mute.
And that's why we have Evan here. He's not just a data analyst. He's also a tech wizard who catches things like that. Well, hi. As Sarah mentioned, I'm Steph. I'm one of the customer success managers at Rinsed, and it's going to be my job today to take you through a little bit in more detail of what Jacob was describing. So to start out, we're going to be talking about drip campaigns. These drip campaigns are kind of three-pronged. We have member, non-member, and former member drips. So for some of you who have already been with Rinsed for a while, you might have had a customer success manager offer to upload some templates for these types of campaigns to your account. What will be new here and what you'll want to ask your customer success manager now to help you get uploaded is that there's actually language populating these campaigns versus before there was templates available for the audiences and for the bones of the campaign itself, like the cadencing, but there wasn't actually any text in there. So drip campaigns, the goal here, and I'll actually share my screen and show you. Stop sharing these slides and show you what we're working with in Rinsed. So in your Rinsed account, if you sign on as a new member, this is going to be automatically in your account when you come on to Rinsed. I'm just going to reiterate again, if you are a current Rinsed customer and you want these uploaded to your account, simply let your customer success manager know and they'll be able to get those uploaded for you. And so for this first section of the drip campaigns, like I said, we're talking member, non-member, and former member. So a member drip, the purpose of that, right, is we're trying to keep your members engaged. It is very clearly shown through data that the more that somebody washes in their first couple of months, the higher their likelihood of long-term retention is going to be. So making sure that you keep on their minds, making sure they're coming into the wash is key. So when you click in here to these campaign messages, and I'll just real quick, where I found these was you go to your marketing tab and then you go to campaign messages and they're all in here. You'll notice that there is a mixture of email and text campaigns and that they're sectioned out by cadence. So because I'm in the member drip campaign, this is specifically going to be targeting your current members at different points during their life cycle. So a classic way to start out, I'll show you this email. Member drip day one, we're saying hi, we're happy to have them. And then we're also probably going to want to make sure that they're aware of where to make changes on their account. Is that going to be through a Rinsed member management form? If so, you can link that form. Did we only collect their phone number during their purchase? Do we want their email? If so, we can collect that email via a contact form. So like Jacob said, there's text in here, but you're definitely going to want to come in and not only give it your own voice, but make sure that there are clear directives for the customer to take whatever action you'd like them to. So if you're wanting to collect more information, make sure there's a contact form. If you want them to upgrade their account, make sure there's a checkout form, things like that. I'm going to just click into another one just so you can see an idea. This is member drip day 70. Our car wash is the perfect place to make your car feel like the king of the road. It gets cheeky, you know, that's a good way to keep people engaged. So those are our member drip campaigns, and you can feel free to just check those out. And then I'll move on to the non-member. So our non-member drip campaigns, that's going to be focused on people for whom, let's say you got their phone number via a website contact form, you gave them a free wash perhaps, and now you're trying to get them into, you know, so your regular marketing to see if you can get them to convert to membership. come in more often, get their feedback, etc. So all of that is kind of included within this non-member drip. So like I said, we're probably getting these people's phone numbers in the first place. You'll notice these are all text messages because typically we are getting those non-member contact information as phone numbers. And this day one, you can see we have your free wash coupon has arrived. Stop by today to redeem. So you're starting off with giving them that free wash. But then next up, day 10, I think is the next we have in the sequence. We're just wanting to say, why settle for a few washes when you can have unlimited? Upgrade for a membership. So it's just these little ways to kind of keep in their ear. And these are just suggestions. But the most important bit here is we're giving away a free wash. We want there to actually be a free wash in there. And then also you'll see if you move through this, we have a survey link in there. You want to make sure that if you're asking for their feedback, you're actually editing that message, putting in a link for them to leave you that feedback. Also, just like in the message I showed where we're saying, hey, why don't you buy a membership? There should be a checkout form in there, right? So make sure that you're always giving the customer something actionable. The last little drip campaign I'm going to go through before having Evan talk a little bit about these is our former member drip campaign. So those are winning back your former members, trying to get them back into membership. You can see here we have a 30, 60, 90, and 120-day cadence. Like Jacob mentioned, this is something that you can easily edit. That's also something that your customer success manager can help you edit in terms of how often you want to send these out. But the gist of that former member campaign is going to be to remind them that they should be coming back, give them some reasons as to why. And then again, if your goal here is to actually get them to purchase a new membership, make sure you have that checkout form in there. So I think I will pause there and let Evan talk a bit through some data related to that.
Will do. Steph, would you mind sharing your screen again
Sure thing.
for the data slides? Thank you.
Oh, yes, I could do that.
Appreciate it. So on top of the operational ease of use with Steph, which Steph just walked through, we also wanted to pull together some of the metrics that we tend to use to evaluate the success of these marketing campaigns because they tell a great story of their effectiveness. So on the top here, we have data from an existing member drip campaign where we're taking a look at a population of newly joined customers who have a slightly lower average wash frequency. So just under 1 wash per month, 0.6x washes per month. To Steph's point, we really like to see early activity from our members to ensure long-term retention. So in this instance, we sent 3,000 marketing emails as sort of an early member drip campaign, reminding these folks of the value of their membership. And we, in fact, saw that average washes per month uptick to 2.69x, which has, that downstream retention benefit. So just a great example of, an easy early member drip campaign having a, pretty profound impact on ensuring people understand, that early activation of their membership. On the bottom, we have something slightly different, a former member drip campaign where we're looking to bring back and reactivate previously churned members. So in an instance where a customer sent roughly 5,600 messages to former members, saw an incredibly high win-back rate when the marketing was also attached to a reduced first month offer if they were to rejoin of 17.4%. So these are awesome examples of success in one instance of a campaign. And later on, we'll go through some data that discusses the impact of the compounding effects of having multiple campaigns like this over time. Yeah.
All right. So thank you for that, Evan. Cool. So next up on our list, which is probably going to be the most novel to everybody here, regardless of if you are a current customer or not, is retail loyalty campaigns. So the actual functionality of this and how you're going to go about collecting contact information from your retail customers and thus using that in marketing is something that will differ by point of sale, and you'll want to actually address with your customer success manager to make sure you can get it up and running successfully. But the purpose of a retail loyalty campaign is to increase that customer retention by offering rewards that encourage return visits and foster long-term relationships, as the slide points out. So I'm going to go ahead and again share in my rinsed screen just a bit. And we're going to go back to our campaign messages here. And we can see we have this folder for rinsed retail loyalty. We'll reiterate for the 50th time that if you want to see this in your account and you're a current customer, just ask your customer success manager. So here we have laid out what would be a 4 retail wash loyalty program, which basically means that on somebody's 4th retail wash, they would receive a coupon for a 5th to be free. So when we go and click into these campaigns here, we can see that what we're trying to do here is we're not just saying initially, okay, join this loyalty program and 5th wash is free. We're making sure that after each time this user comes into the wash, we're continuing to engage them, continuing to remind them of the value, and continuing to remind them that there's an end goal in sight here. So if I click to, this person has had 2 out of 4 of their washes, we have this simple language in here. Your dedication to a clean car is paying off. This is obviously very malleable, and you can make this say whatever you want. But the general sentiment of reminding them just 2 washes left for a freebie is something that you're going to want to keep in there. I will also just give a little nod to Jacob's point about compliance. You can see here that on some of our text messages, we have a text stop to stop text. I would advise that those are kept in so that you can stay compliant, but just wanted to call that out here. So as you can see, we're kind of building the case over time that these people should not only keep retail washing, but when you've had them do enough retail washes, the case for them to buy a membership becomes stronger and stronger. So when we go in and look at this 4th one where they're actually receiving that complimentary free wash, we don't have this in here as of yet, but a good potential follow-up idea to that is then, okay, you washed 4 times. Maybe we then make an audience seeing, well, what period of time did those 4 washes happen over? If those 4 washes happen over the course of 2 months or less, that person's a great candidate for a membership. Whereas, if they wash 4 times over the year, of course, it's still good to offer them a membership, but that is going to be less relevant for that type of person. The next bit here, I don't believe that we have data slides on that, partially because that is a newly launched program. So I don't think that we really have a robust enough data set to make intelligent inferences on that yet. So let's move on here. So credit card decline campaigns, this is going to be something that looks very familiar to you if you are a current rinsed customer. We typically have the 4 and 11-day reminders going out to customers to let them know that their credit card has failed to be charged for their membership. So we made a couple of tweaks here, but just for everybody who is not familiar, our credit card decline campaigns the purpose is to minimize involuntary churn by addressing payment issues and to recapture revenue from customers experiencing credit card problems. So this is going to people who theoretically have no interest in actually leaving your wash, and we're kind of doing a mutually beneficial service by reminding them to update their payment information. I'll keep this bit in rinsed pretty brief because, again, this is going to look pretty familiar to most of you. or to everyone who is a current customer. Nothing has changed about the language that we have in here, but you will notice that whereas before, like I said, we were doing dunning after 4 and 11 failed attempts, we've added in a 7 failed attempts here. I think we had gotten some feedback that people were maybe interested in doing a little bit more on the reminders, so chose a day kind of in the middle of those two. But the language is going to be the same across the board. So we have these going out via email and via text. And if I click on a text one, for instance, we're going to call them out by first name, and we're going to make sure that we actually have an update payment method link for them right in the text message so that they can easily update their payment method. I believe that is pretty much, I'll just show you what it looks like in email form, but then I will hand it off to Evan. You got this handy button here. You want me to share the slides, Evan?
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks so much. So to the point of what Steph was discussing, this is data showing the cumulative revenue regained from something like a credit card declined campaign. So effectively what we see with this example is from the campaigns, we have roughly 15 updated credit cards per day on average throughout this roughly 2-year period. So as the marketing emails are going to folks whose credit card payment information is not working, we're updating that information roughly 15 times a day. And so you can see over time the aggregated impact of each new day of saved customers, new regained revenue. And over the course of this roughly 2-year period, you can see that we generated cumulatively roughly $2.6 million in revenue over that period of time, off of about 10,875 overall payment methods updated. So I think similar to some of the campaigns we were discussing earlier, anything that brings back a membership or adds a new membership or prevents involuntary churn, such as this one, is going to have those aggregating benefits over time. If you were to have turned this campaign on in April of 2024, this past month, that bar chart on the way right would only have that sliver of the stacked bar chart that's associated with the payment methods updated in that month. But in this case, because this customer turned it on so long ago, they have roughly $236,000 of won-back revenue that we've been able to follow over time, attributed to those campaigns this month. So just to show the impact of that cumulative and aggregating, compounding campaigns. Yeah.
Thank you, Evan. All right, Sarah's taking it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you both, Steph and Evan, for allowing doing that deep dive. We're now going to move forward with our Q&A session. So I will bring all the speakers onto the stage, and we'll go ahead and start with the Q&A. There have been some really great questions coming through, and we love to see the questions. First off, to just answer the one, there will be a recording after this event that I will send out, so everyone will be able to revisit all these great slides and information. Now to move on for the other questions. Some of them were already answered within the Q&A, but to go ahead and just kind of give greater visibility to the greater audience here. There's a birthday audience for the non-member campaign. Is that possible to do with Sunny's? Gabe, would you like to provide more visibility on that one?
Sure. Yeah. And please feel free to jump in as well, Steph. But contact forms within Rinse can have an optional birth date field that you can toggle on or off. That should work across point of sale. So you would ask the person entering their information for their birth date, and then once you store that, that could trigger a birthday campaign, maybe sending a free wash each year on their birthday.
Great. Thank you. Anything else to add from that point, Steph?
I feel like not so much to add, just in terms of just giving another plug for setting things up with your CSM, just so that they'll be able to point out any nuances that maybe weren't able to be covered during this and make sure it's doing what you expect it to do.
Thanks, Steph. All right, next question. If a customer had a profile in the past and they have a current membership that shares the same email, will the audience be able to tell that the email is attached to a currently active membership and not send them a win-back email?
I can take this one. So for that, we would just want to make sure that we're putting active members in the excluded audience. And then that way it would make sure that the main audience is only going to capture barcodes of people who are former members and not include any active members in there.
Great. Thanks for that answer. I know that Gabe had answered this question within the Q&A section, but I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen too. What is the average win-back rate? Is 17% great or average? Gabe, could you kind of share a little bit more about your response there?
Sure. Yeah. So we definitely wanted to highlight some campaigns that went especially well to kind of show what the kind of best outcomes can look like. I would say that 17% is absolutely an awesome win-back rate. It totally depends on the kind of like level of discount or type of offer that you're giving, but more standard, we would expect to see somewhere between like a 2 to 5% win-back rate if you're doing a former member win-back campaign.
Thanks. All right. How do you segregate between messages for loyalty campaign and messages for non-member campaigns? Steph, would you, or Jacob, would you like to maybe hop in for that question?
I can help out there. So this is a matter of kind of where we're pulling those audiences from. So for a majority of those non-member campaigns, if you do go into Rinst and click into the audiences that are being used for those, it's actually pulling from different contact lists. So the way that those contact lists makes it into Rinst is either, let's say you're using some external marketing agency and you've collected contacts from another source, uploading those contacts to Rinst, and then putting those into an audience would be like where those non-members are coming from. Another very popular thing is to have a contact form on your website that collects information for people, and then having that contact form filter into a contact list, which filters into the audience to the non-member drip. Whereas the loyalty campaign audience is actually coming from a different place, essentially. It's not pulling from that contact list. So it's going to end up being separate. There can be overlap, like factually, people could technically exist on both lists, in which case you just want to be diligent about using your excluded audiences if you want to make sure that there's no overlap in messaging going out to them.
Thank you. All right, we have a question about the Spot AI integration. So how's the Spot AI integration going on the real loyalty piece? Now this actually, I will give like a little response, but I am going to put in a little plug for our Spot AI webinar that will be happening on May 22nd at 12 p.m. Eastern time. And I can send out, for anyone interested, a registration link to that as well, where we'll do a bigger deep dive into how that integration will help with the loyalty piece. But on a high level, essentially, on a high level, that the integration helps to enrich the data so that we can be able to kind of build out those retail audiences a little bit more. Gabe, do you have anything more to add there with the Spot AI integration?
No, yeah, we're really excited about this new integration. Basically, as Sarah mentioned, it'll be just another way to try to make sure you're able to best identify retail washers or non-members. So as we're able to tie the license plates we see from our Spot AI integration and those cameras with the transaction data and the point of sale, and then if you're able to collect contact information for those folks, then you'd be able to have kind of a more reliable way to identify retail washers.
Great. Well, we have a lot more wonderful questions that we'll go ahead and reach out to all these individuals as we are at time. We want to be respectful of all your schedules. So thank you all for the engagement here. And we'll reach out within the next 24 hours to answer any unanswered questions. If you are not yet a Rinsed customer and would like to learn more about this feature and all the other features, there is a button at the top right of your screen to request a demo. If you are a Rinsed customer and have further questions, feel free to, as even Steph had mentioned, reach out to your customer success manager, as they are there to help. And before you log off, I will be launching a quick survey to just let us know how we did today. We appreciate all of your attendance, and we hope you have a wonderful day.